it's finally the beginning of the year. It's January, it's 2025, and it's time for some new money goals. Now, I love setting new goals, and I also just love the beginning of the year in general, so I'm really excited for this. Now, when you guys are watching this, we're actually on a trip with Dennis's family, so if you want to see all the updates and what we're actually up to in real time right now, then make sure you check out our Instagram page. I'm sure we'll be posting a lot of fun stuff over there. But what that really meant is that this is the first year that I'm not going to be at home at the beginning of the year, which meant that we really had to be ahead of things when it came to goal setting and preparing for 2025, which was actually kind of nice. Now, if you haven't set your goals yet, then it's definitely not too late. Hopefully this video can give you some inspiration and some ideas for money goals of your own, or it could just at least be entertaining for you. So in this video, we're going to be covering my personal money goals, also Dennis's personal money goals, and then the goals that we have combined between the both of us, both as a couple and also business-wise. So let's jump into it.
Before I get into that, I want to remind you guys that we have a brand new investing course called Simple Investing for Canadians. We're seriously so excited about it, and if one of your money goals is to focus on investing this year, then we definitely think that you should check it out. The course covers everything that you need to know in order to start investing in the stock market the simple way. There's video lessons, test your knowledge quizzes, downloadable resources, a personalized investing game plan, and you'll be added to our private community. You can sign up now, set up your account, and the course content itself will be available on January 15th. If you want to hear more, check out the link in our description box below. Now let's get back to the video.
Okay, so my first money goals are all investing related. Now, if you guys have been watching our videos for a while now, you know that I've gone through multiple phases, I guess you could call it, with my money journey. So first, I was really focused on budgeting. Then I was really focused on increasing my income. And now, for at least the past few years, I've been really focused on investing and specifically growing my knowledge and confidence with investing. So of course, that means that investing is going to be the main theme of my money goals. So the first goal is to invest $2,000 a month. Now, this goal might be familiar to you because it's actually one that I'm keeping the same from last year. Now, Dennis and I decided that we're keeping our salaries the exact same this year. So what that means is that my plan is the same. I'm going to be able to invest $2,000 a month and then spend from the other $2,459 a month that we get from our salary too. Now, I will say that this feels like a really good and honestly pretty substantial amount of money to be able to invest every single month. And also on top of that, I know from last year too that it felt really good to see my overall net worth, and specifically my net worth within my investment accounts, go up by $24,000 throughout the year. So I'm happy with this goal, and I definitely want to keep it the same. Now, the main reason that I'm so focused on investing right now, especially at this stage in my life, is because both Dennis and I want to invest as much money as possible as early as possible when we're still young. Obviously, it's always good to invest and it's never too late to start, but at the same time, the earlier you start, the more you can really benefit from investing because the more time your money has to grow over the long term. So that's the main reason why I'm really focused on it right now. And then also on top of that, I also know that there could be a time in the future when we have higher expenses, or maybe we want to shift our focus into saving our money for bigger purchases that are coming up. Obviously, at some stage that's going to happen. So right now, when we can afford to and we have the money to put towards investing specifically, I'm going to do it. Now, on that note, my next goal is to re-max out both my TFSA and my FHSA. Now, the TFSA and FHSA are two different tax-advantaged investment accounts that we have here in Canada. And because they have tax benefits, there's also a maximum cap, or like a maximum limit and amount of money that you can add into and invest with within each account. Now, I maxed out my TFSA for the very first time back in 2023, and at the time, my maximum limit was $62,500. But then every year, the government actually adds more room to the different tax-advantaged investment accounts. So in 2024, I had to re-max it out, which I did. That brought me up to my max limit at the time of $69,500. Now for 2025, I'll have another $7,000 added to the account. So that means my first goal of the year is going to be to remax that out, bringing me up to my new limit of $76,500. Now the FHSA works in a very similar way. So last year I maxed out my current limit that was $8,000, and every year another $8,000 gets added to the account. So for 2025, I'll have a new $8,000 worth that I want to remax out. So I hit my new total limit of $16,000. Now the other investment account that I'm going to be contributing to after I remax out my TFSA and my FHSA for the year is my RRSP. Now, I actually decided to set the new goal of maxing out my RRSP this year. Now, this one's definitely more of a stretch goal. I know that I should be able to afford to remax out my TFSA and FHSA, but I've never maxed out my RRSP before, and I definitely have a decent amount of contribution room left in that account. And I don't know, based on my calculations on my monthly investments, I don't think I'd be able to max it out, but potentially with our end of year bonus that I'll be getting another 12 months from now, hopefully that'll help with that, but we'll have to see.
All right, so now let's get into some of my money goals for the year. So right off the bat, I have to say this past year has been one of my biggest money accomplishment years yet. And honestly, if you really were to ask me, I would say paying off my student loan debt, that would be first, just because that was such a big deal for me. But I would have to say that this past year and everything that's gone on money-wise has to be up there. It has to be at the top. So I maxed out my TFSA, which was really, really exciting. And then after that, I opened and maxed out my FHSA, which once again was also super exciting. And then after that, I even started contributing to my RRSP. So finally, 3.5 years after quitting my corporate job, I was finally able to move my old corporate pension plan into a self-directed RRSP. Now, when you move your old corporate pension plan into a self-directed RRSP, it actually just counts as a transfer. So that part of it doesn't actually count as me making contributions, but I did actually have contributions on top of that transfer. Now, I also switched investment platforms. So I went from using Questrade for like 3 years to instead using Wealthsimple. And I also just recently hit a really huge milestone, which was finally hitting a $100,000 net worth. Now, we're going to be talking about that in a video that's dropping really soon, but that literally just happened like a few weeks ago. Anyways, if we move on to my goals for the year, I pretty much just really want to build on that momentum that I've already established. So my first goal is to invest $2,000 a month. Now, just like Steph, I also aim to invest $2,000 on a monthly basis, and I'm really hoping that I can keep that up over the upcoming year. Now, I tend to spend a little bit less than Steph on a monthly basis, just generally, so I'm really hoping that I can add in some extra contributions here and there. This last year, I was able to add in an extra $1,550, so hopefully, we'll see how the year goes, but hopefully every now and then I can make that little bit of extra contribution. Now, my next goal is to max out my TFSA and my FHSA. So kind of like what I explained earlier, over the last year, I was able to max out my TFSA and my FHSA, which was really awesome. And now that we're in the new year, similar to Steph, I'll be gaining new contribution room, which I'll hopefully be able to max out. Since I'm 1 year older than Steph, my total TFSA contribution room is going to be $82,000. Now, given the fact that I've already contributed $75,000, that means that I'll only have another $7,000 to add. And then with my FHSA, that total room is actually going up to $16,000. But given the fact that I've already contributed $8,000, that means that I'll only have another $8,000 that I can actually add. After that, I'll then move on to contributing to my RRSP. Now, my last money goal is to hit a $150,000 net worth. Now, to me, that's kind of like the next big natural milestone, especially after recently hitting a $100,000 net worth. As everything sits right now, if we were to look at all of my accounts, my net worth currently sits at $112,000. So with my monthly investment contributions, that'll definitely push me up and give me that bump up. But in order to hit that $150,000 mark, it'll definitely take a little bit extra. So this is definitely something to aim for and to push for. Now, 2025 is also a really big year because this is the year that I turn 30. Now, even though turning 30 or turning whatever age is an arbitrary number, if I can somehow sneak in some of these last few different types of money goals in before that time or right around that time, I think it'll be huge too. And it'll be something worth celebrating.
Okay, next I want to talk about my more savings related money goals, which I have a few of. Now, the first one is that I want to try and spend $0 on Uber Eats again this year. Now, in case you missed it, that was definitely my biggest money goal of last year, which seems kind of funny, but it was definitely the biggest one. And I successfully did it. So I just felt like, why not try and keep it up again this year? It definitely helped me save a lot of money. In case you didn't see that, I saved over $2,500 compared to the year before. So why not try that again? Hopefully I should be able to do it again since I did it last year. Now, on the topic of spending less money, another big goal for me is to have a total spend of $30,000 or less. Now, like I said, this is seriously a big goal for me because if we look back on my past years of spending, in 2023, I had a total spend of about $37,000. And then last year in 2024, it was about $32,000. So definitely actually a big step down, and I've been trending downwards. By cutting that back by another $2,000 would definitely be a lot more to squeeze out. So we'll have to see if it's actually doable. But technically the reason that I want to do this is because if we were to look at my budget, if I were to spend $2,500 a month, which is technically still a little bit over my budget goal, if you remember from before, that would end up being $30,000 for the year. So it kind of makes sense. We'll just have to see if I can actually stick to it based on my past year's spending habits. Now, I will say the one exemption that I'm going to give myself is any sort of travel related expenses. We actually don't have any specific plans for travel in 2025 yet. We don't have any trips booked or anything even like in our minds. other than the trip that we're on right now with Dennis's family. But in case something comes up, I would love to do something travel related next year. So I'm gonna give myself that exemption. But for my regular monthly spending, for the basic stuff, I wanna stick to my budget and see if I can do this. Now, the last money goal that I personally have is hitting a $200,000 net worth. Now, this one is also definitely a stretch goal that's only partially in my control too, but I kind of wanted to add some stretch goals to my list. It's definitely okay to not just put goals that you know you'll hit and can definitely check off. It's fine to have some that you don't check off, so I wanted to add a few of those on here too. Now, if I say the reason why this isn't necessarily going to happen for sure is because right now, as I'm sitting here on this couch, my net worth is at about $155,000 or just under that. So if we look at just my investment contributions alone that I'll be making next year, that $24,000, so $2,000 a month, 12 months in the year, that'll bring me to about $180,000. So to bridge the gap between $180,000 and $200,000, that would have to come from one of two different options, or both, I guess. One would be from a big end of year bonus. We'll have to see if that happens, but that would be the only possible way, other than some investment growth within my portfolio. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, that one's not so much in my control over the short term, but we'll keep an eye on it and see if I can hit that goal.
Okay, so now the last category of goals that we have to cover are our combined goals. So that's the goals for both Steph and me. Now, obviously, all of our goals are kind of combined because we're a team and we literally openly talk about money with each other all the time, along with you guys, of course. But we do still have our personal money milestones and goals that we want to hit. Our together goals, or our combined goals, are literally goals that go together. So this year, they're actually pretty simple. So the very first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we're continuing to fill out our budget trackers each and every single month. Now, this is something that we've been doing for years, and so it's not really something that's new to us, but I will say for me specifically, this was the first year where I did it intentionally every single month. And it was really cool because I literally said to Steph a couple of weeks ago when we were having a conversation, I literally said that I was just amazed at how much you can learn about your spending habits by tracking your money in this way. It was really, really cool to see. So we want to do this again this year and make sure that we're keeping up with our quarterly update videos that we did for you guys last year. So our next one is a business related goal, and it's to grow our new investing course. So in case you missed it or in case you haven't heard, we recently launched a new investing course called Simple Investing for Canadians, and we couldn't be like even more excited about it. Like, I don't even have the words, basically. So to give you a bit of background, all of last year, we were working so hard behind the scenes for months on months trying to get this out to you guys. So yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you check out the link in our description box below if you want to learn more. And yeah, we're super excited about this. Anyways, it's a new part of what we do on top of posting personal finance content on here as well as on TikTok and Instagram. So this year we're super excited for it, and it's going to be a big part of our year. So we really wanted to make sure that we actually attached a goal to it and then talked about it. So those are our two main combined goals, but we might have some other ones come up throughout the year that we'll definitely share with you guys in some future videos. So those are all of our money goals for the year, but let us know what some of your goals are down in the comment box below. We're super interested in hearing what you guys are aiming for, and yeah, we hope that you guys have a really great year ahead. Keep in mind that we'll also be back next week with another video, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.